love with herself. She likes the dark. And on her milk white neck, the devil's mark. Now it's All Hallows Eve. The moon is full. But will she trick or treat? I bet she will.
InObscuria!
Welcome back, my friends, to the InObscuria podcast, a podcast where we exhume obscure rock and punk and metal, and we put them in one of three categories: the lost, the forgotten, or the should-have-beens, and the fourth category, the beheaded. Maybe not.
Black, number one.
That crooner over there, that's Robert Harrison. I'm Kevin Williams. We're back again for another fun month of Gothtober.
Love it. Been looking forward to this for 11 months.
We've been talking about it for that long.
Pretty much, yeah.
We love Halloween here on the InObscuria podcast. It just really fits us well. And I just noticed not only did the lights just get dimmed in here in the old catacombs.
Yes.
In Studio B. But also, as I was walking in, I could smell that scent in the air. October's here, and I smell
pumpkin
decay.
Spice?
No, it was decay.
Oh, sorry.
And rot.
That was my trash. You walked past my trash.
Oh, shit.
It's time,
I thought it was Halloween.
No,
okay.
I need to get one of those companies that comes around and washes your garbage can for you.
Yeah.
The height of excess is to pay somebody to come and wash your garbage can out.
Oh, man. What went on with you this week that the folks out there need to know about, Robert?
You know, I had a good day today. I did not set myself on fire.
I saw some...
Unlike yesterday.
I saw some posts where you...
Yesterday was not a good day.
You burned some more shirts?
Yeah.
Looks like?
Right around my stomach, welded something on the workbench, and then turned back around and leaned up against it, just enough for my shirt to touch it. And you always notice, like I'm looking kind of horizontally, and you notice this flicker of light coming down near your groinal area.
Because you have the mask on?
Yeah, I got the mask on. Then you kind of flip it up, and you just see this flicker of light down below, and you're like, that's the no-no zone for fire. No. So it's not stop, drop, and roll like somebody suggested. When it's near that area, it's just flail around and do whatever you can to get the fire out.
Screaming memes.
Yeah, so I ruined a good shirt yet again, and I need to get some more t-shirts. So you're the master of paraphernalia and memorabilia.
Yes.
It was not a band t-shirt. This was a...
It was not a...
No, this is like a thrift store
InObscuria
shirt.
shirt.
No. I do not wear those to work. You know, come on. Those are for fancy parties. And
those are actually hanging on hangers in your closet.
Exactly.
Yes.
But no, this is a cool shirt because it's a thrift store and it looked cool, and I'm down to like 2 cool t-shirts, but cool t-shirts that I would wear to work.
Got it.
Not just trash. Like, I got to look good when I'm down in the workshop by myself.
So you just happen to be wearing
we are both.
the Swear t-shirt with blood splatter. That was our
Isn't that perfect?
second shirt that we ever produced.
That
was
you
probably-
made the shirt.
Yeah, I didn't do that particular logo because
you didn't?
really not much to it. It's just a script.
Okay.
But that was something that Elizabeth, the singer in the Swear, gave to me, and then we added the blood splatter.
Well, that pretty much sums up the band right there. You got the
does.
band and blood splatter.
Yeah.
And that's just
Pretty
it.
much.
That's all you need to know.
And I am also wearing a Swear t-shirt. I'm wearing my own band's t-shirt. I'm just like Iron Maiden.
Nerd!
This is my
That's
favorite
right.
one.
They do wear their own shirts.
They wear their own shirts.
I forgot about that.
They're like the only band that does that.
Yeah.
Every other band's like, oh, it's not cool to wear your
No,
own
it's
shirt.
definitely not cool. Although I think we did that a couple of times. I don't care.
You know what?
Because
It's a
you made
free
cool
shirt.
shirts. Yeah, it was free, but you also made really good looking merch. So
Spend a lot of time on this stuff.
Yeah.
So might as well wear it. But yeah, how about that? We're representing
That was, so yeah, other than setting myself on fire, it's been a quiet week working in the shop. It's sculpture season. So spending hours and hours welding and cutting and pasting and making things.
And I want to talk about that sculpture, but hold a little bit. I want to talk about it here in a few minutes. Right. Speaking of the swear, I'll just go ahead and say we are going back on the road at the end of this month of October. We're doing 3 dates in Atlanta, Charlotte, and Savannah.
Just the Bermuda Triangle of music right there.
Yes, just hitting the local spots. Yep. Should be fun, though. Getting back out there with Kent, our boy Kent.
Savannah's usually a pretty good party town. You should have fun there.
Yeah, I think
I don't know anything about Charlotte. Say Charlotte?
Charlotte, yeah. We're opening, all three, we're opening for David Cook again.
Okay.
Like we did last year. We did a run of shows with him in the Northeast.
I've driven through Charlotte numerous times, but never spent any time there, so I can't tell you anything about that. Atlanta, I know a little bit about Atlanta.
Yeah, so if you're interested at all and you're near any of those towns, I'll be throwing out the dates probably next week. Give you those dates, because if I give them to you now, you're just going to forget them. Yeah. So there's no reason for me to
go get something to write with, and then we'll repeat it later on.
Yeah, and then you'd have to rewind, and I know nobody skips on this thing.
No.
Never.
Every second is worth listening to.
That's right. So, speaking of obscure things, I was at work yesterday. I actually drove into town. I went to work. I'm trying to do this 2 to 3 times a week, go into the office. And as I was leaving, I'm writing down, there's this whole new West Atlanta area right now. It's really happening. It's cool.
Yeah, it's changed a lot.
Back in the day, it was just all industrial, but it's just a cool happening spot now, and it's near where I work. And I'm driving home down the back road that is Marietta Boulevard. And I did like a double take, and I'm like, shit, what did I drink? Because I thought, oh, something's wrong with me. Honest to God, I am getting ready to cross over one of the main roads, and there is a cowboy on a horse with 6 shooters and everything strapped on like he just came out of a movie set. And maybe he did.
Yeah.
But he was going across the intersection on a horse.
He was going through a crosswalk. He wasn't jaywalking.
He's going through a crosswalk.
You know, it's okay to ride a horse. You don't want to jaywalk on a horse. That's 2 tickets.
Have you ever seen a cowboy downtown Atlanta on the west side?
Fully armed.
Fully 6 shooters.
Yeah.
Yeah, on his side. I was like, what the hell is going on? I mean, we do make a lot of movies here, but I didn't see a set anywhere.
It is West Atlanta. I mean, are they taking it literally?
Maybe it's a Western.
They're taking it a little bit too far with that.
Most bizarre thing I've seen.
We had a young lady on a horse ride it to the grocery store next door to the firehouse. I walked over there. No. Oh. No, this is Smyrna. We don't.
I thought you
small town.
I thought you were about to get rented.
No, that's just in my mind. Thank you. But yeah, she rode her horse. There's a stable about 4 miles from here, and she rode it on the bike path between the horse stables and here, just to kind of prove that you can do it. It's perfectly legal for them to do that.
So that means that the bike path is now full of poop, horse poop.
This was a well-trained horse. I asked her that. She's like, nope, it is well-trained. I'm like, okay, apparently that's the thing. I didn't know you could do that.
Well, after you poop on a bike path, go listen to Pot of Thunder, Cobras and Fire, Growing Up Rock, Slamfest podcast, Decibel Geek, A to Z Radio, Metal Up Your Podcast, The Hustle, Disciples of the Watch, Podcast Rock City, State of Amorica, Rock Strikes 10, Potter Than Hell, Podkiss, The Kiss Room, Ages of Rock, Retro Zest Podcast, The Synaptic Empire, and don't forget about Monty's Rockcast. Come visit us at InObscuria.com. Like us, share us, recommend us, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Go buy some of our stuff, and that's it. We're done.
Done. That's it. All right. See you next week.
All right. Later.
That seemed fast. Was it faster than you?
Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll keep going.
Should we do a little bit more?
So, the stars have aligned. It is officially Gothtober. Wait, you do it better.
Hang on. Gothtober. No, that wasn't good. I gotta.
Oh, you need to take you know what? Drink a little bit of this absinthe here.
Oh, yeah.
Try this absinthe here.
Gothtober. Oh, that was good stuff.
Gadget.
I'll get you next time, Gadget. Next time. That's totally where I got that from. Even though I was 23 when that was out, I was watching Inspector Gadget.
Because you were like, I can build that. I can do that.
Oh, totally. I was like,
I can build
Gadget?
that stuff.
I can watch this. Even back then, I knew something I was destined for weirdness.
Oh, man. Well, we don't have to guess. We know what we're going to do. It's time. I think every Halloween we've started with this particular series. This is going to be episode 146. Everything turns gray. Goth rock Whoop. Nope. Slash through that. Not goth rock. Goth metal.
Oh, it's one more than goth
Volume
rock.
4. We're going to turn the amplifiers up a little bit tonight. So that's why we had Mr. Peter Steele bringing us into this episode at the very beginning. So we've done 3 goth episodes over the last 2 Halloweens.
Wait a minute.
And I'm about to say, we did 2 episodes, 2 Halloweens, and then we had a little special episode in April.
It was a preview
with Brent Zias.
Yeah, that's right.
Where he brought us a bunch of really cool goth music.
It was good stuff. I have to come back and listen to that again.
Now, we've played a little bit of metal mixed in with that, but typically it's goth rock or punk. And today we're going to focus on the metal. So we've done a 2-parter on The Mission. That's also considered goth rock. We've done an episode about Typo Negative. We did that last Halloween. So we're going to continue on that journey with Typo Negative. We want to cover a little bit of what is goth. If you don't know, go anywhere in any town that you are and find the people that are in the corners wearing all black, and then ask them what goth is, and they'll probably tell you.
I don't know. They might not talk to you. They're too cool.
That's true.
Goths are cool.
So it kind of came out of the post-punk, glam, shock rock in the UK in the late 70s, and it kind of shifted towards darker music with gothic overtones, dark sounds, minor chords, lots of reverb,
dark hair.
Everything black, none more black. Baritone vocals for the most part. A lot of Jim Morrison type vocals. In goth rock, you get a lot of electronic music as well. So a lot of keyboard textures and arrangements around kind of symphonic arrangements, but a lot of times done by keyboards. And that's even taken further into the metal world as well. So it's going to be kind of interesting trip we're going down today. A lot of dark romanticism, tragedy, melancholy, morbidity, true joy in the macabre, the grim and the ghastly. That sounds good.
That is good.
Yeah, it sounds really good. All right.
Take me there right now.
So that's where we're headed. Before we get into this, there's also fashion that's goth. We're not going to really talk about that, but there's also architecture and sculpture, and maybe you can enlighten us on some sculpturing that you're doing.
Yeah, so this podcast has influenced me in many ways to go and research all kinds of cool music, but it also got me interested in researching architecture. After we talked about goth or gothic music that has nothing to do with gothic architecture necessarily, goth
but
music.
The visuals do apply.
Now, the visuals came in after that, but 2 different things, and I had to kind of refresh my memory. What was Gothic architecture? And so lots of nights of rabbit holes looking at Gothic architecture, studying again, details what makes Gothic versus Romanesque versus this or that. And so then I started wanting to build more Gothic sculptures. And I don't know why, I just started making Gothic windows, these metal windows, one after another, just making them. It was during the middle of the pandemic, so this was a time we were looking for things to do. And so I got into this Gothic architecture and the music at the same time. So all of a sudden I became really interested in goth music and had never really given it much of a listen other than a few hits that we all know about. Bela Lugosi's Dead. Okay. Yeah, you heard that a million times.
The Bell
every Halloween. Just started doing deep dives into them. Typo Negative, really just fixated on Typo Negative. Wanted to listen to every single thing by them. So that has led me to, right now I'm making, basically it's the ruins of a Gothic cathedral that I've uncovered in my backyard.
Ooh.
So we're talking an actual Gothic cathedral that's slowly being unearthed. That was probably left there by aliens hundreds of years ago as a place marker. So when they came back and conquered Earth, they would know where the coolest places were to settle first. And so it's Gothic architecture designed by an alien. So you have to, it's a little bit of a twist, but I've got the beginnings of that in my shop. It's about a 12-foot tall Gothic arch that's, my twist on what a Gothic arch designed by aliens would look like.
And I've seen some posts. Now, did you do those posts on the InObscuria site, or are you just putting them under you?
No, I think I haven't put those on InObscuria yet, but I can go back.
Yeah,
I was waiting to get a little more material.
As this episode drops,
that'll be a good time to start
putting there. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
But I've got more accomplished, so by the time this drops, you'll actually be able to see some progress.
So truly aligning with today's theme, you have been doing Gothic metal.
Yes.
Working.
Yes. Literally.
Literally.
Been doing that, yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about some more mainstream, maybe goth metal acts that get brought up a lot. Obviously, we're not going to play all of these bands because you may have already heard of them. We've done a lot on Typo Negative, but that is a band that comes up. You do a Google search on Gothic metal, they're right up there.
And I'm okay if we do it again and again and again. And we'll have to figure out our way of doing it, though.
We'll have some degrees of separation, some snippets getting back to Typo. And Peter Steele obviously brought us into this episode. One that I don't usually think about as being a gothic band, just because of where I lump them or categorize them in my brain, is Evanescence are considered a gothic metal.
Ooh. I'll have to think about that.
And I think it's mainly
honestly
the
only
lead
know
singer. I think
one
it's
or
mainly
two songs.
It's mainly her, because what always got me about that group, I never totally got into them, but didn't they have like a really bad rapper on
Well,
some
yeah,
songs?
he left the band. It was once again, I've only heard that original song that got them a lot of radio play.
That was the one with the really bad rap.
And
yes?
then he is no longer with the band, because imagine that. All his part was, wake me up! That's your job.
One. Yeah,
that is your whole job right there, is to yell that in the mic. And I'm sure there was some tension after she got all the attention, and he's no longer with the band.
Yeah, so they're considered a goth metal band.
But she's got an amazing voice. She's done collaborations with
Amy
other
Lee?
artists.
Is that
Amy
right?
Lee. Yeah.
I think it's Amy Lee. Yeah, I don't know much of
really
them.
powerful voice.
Maybe I should dig in a little
And she's
bit.
collaborated with a few other artists recently. And the subsequent releases, I think that rap really is dated now. It's just, even though it's a little bit in the middle of the song, it wasn't much, but it was
enough to turn me off of their music forever.
Yeah, that one little thing, you're like, yeah.
So maybe I should go back.
You should go back.
Now that I know that he's
no
not
longer
there.
in the band.
Yeah.
He's working at Starbucks.
Okay, good for him. Another band that comes up a lot, which if you're into heavy, you might know this band, Cradle of Filth is one that comes up. There's a band called Celtic Frost, and they're more of an 80s band that was kind of the underground of metal. They're pretty heavy as well. I considered putting some Celtic Frost on here today, but it's just, sometimes there's just too heavy.
Yeah.
Like it's just
a lot of
if I can't get any sort of groove at all from it, maybe not.
We've got
this
pretty similar
episode.
taste in that. We like really good metal, we like heavy metal, but there's a tipping point where it's kind of okay, that's too much.
Yeah, I mean, I like this stuff, but I didn't feel like it fit in with everything else I had. Another band, Lacuna Coil, is one that comes up. I'm not super familiar with them. I know that they're fairly big. I just never got into them. A newer one, Ghost, who you've mentioned before.
Yes.
They've done really well. They're kind of all over the place, but they're definitely in the goth metal. The whole look and everything that they do is just fantastic. It's like a band today who can actually creep parents out is Ghost. And at the same time, just like Alice Cooper and Kiss, they're kind of campy.
Well, that's the funny thing, is you're creeping out parents that grew up on Alice Cooper.
The stuff that was campy that freaked out parents.
Yeah. They were freaking out their parents with those, and now they're getting freaked out by Ghost.
You put a guy in a Pope costume, and automatically parents get freaked out. Like, whoa,
that's too much.
Skeleton in a Pope costume. Who's saying worship the devil? Oh my God.
You're going to psychiatrist.
Yeah. A couple bands we've played. Him. We've played them before.
H-Y.
H-I. No, H-I-M.
H-I-M, okay.
Yep, we've played them. His Infernal Majesty.
Oh, that's right.
The 69 Eyes, we played them last year. They're doing better. Two that you may sort of consider goth metal, Rammstein.
I could see that.
They're industrial.
East Europe.
They're German.
Okay, well, maybe East Germany. Are they from East Germany at least?
Well, I don't think there is an East and West Germany anymore, Robert.
But back in the day, thank you very much, there was in the past.
And the other one would be the Cult. Wherever you want to put the Cult. Are they metal or are they rock?
They got the
goth?
name. With the name The Cult,
Yeah.
you get thrown in with all of that.
And the fact that they were the Southern Death Cult before they were the Cult. Yeah.
That's pretty goth.
All right, so we're not going to play any of those bands, but we are going to start with a band that is considered to be among the pioneers of goth metal, along with Typo. You'll see their names lumped together, but I would hazard a guess that you've probably never heard of Paradise Lost.
No.
Okay. English gothic metal band formed in 1988, and they've sold over 2 million albums worldwide over the course of their 16-album, 34-year career. So other bands have albums that sell 2 million, but still, this is a goth metal band. So they've still done really well. They're still, when you Google it, this is a band that comes up. And their fifth album, called Draconian Times, is considered to be the backbone of their whole career and their whole sound. We're going to play from that album.
Okay.
We're going to play a song from that one. And the album actually charted in the top 20 in several countries, including the UK and Germany. So they had a little bit of mainstream success there. And you're going to hear this a lot today. A lot of these bands, there's a steady progression from really heavy doom, death metal, death growls type of albums when they first start, because most of these started in the late 80s or early 90s, and they were just super heavy and not a lot of melody. And then over time, there's progression of getting more melody, adding more goth into their metal, and then maybe some of them going more electronic as well.
Okay.
And mixing all that in, which basically just kind of morph into more of a goth rock band, even though they're a metal band. But a lot of them have these doom beginnings. So lately they've gotten, this band, Paradise Lost, they've gotten back to their death and doom beginnings. So they kind of did a full circle on the progression of their music. So they cite Maiden and Metallica, Southern Death Cult, and Sisters of Mercy as their main influences. So there you go. It's the melting pot of metal and goth.
Top 5 right there.
So let's play a little Paradise Lost. Again, if you're really into gothic metal, you'll know this band and you'll be like, they're not obscure. Well, for a lot of us, they are. So here is The Last Time from Draconian Times, 1995.
So just like Typo, they appreciate a good sudden stop to their songs.
Yeah, you don't need to carry it on. When you're done, just stop.
That took some getting used to, listening to Typo and always having to go back and check my phone or whatever was playing the music. I'm like, what happened? Why'd that cut that
My
off?
battery died.
And then I realized, oh, he just a jackass. He likes to do that, which I appreciate. So this guy's obviously a fan of Glenn Danzig from a vocal standpoint.
You could probably say that.
And it went from goth rock to goth metal with just some of the chunk of the guitar. The atmospheric lyric part of the guitar towards the end was very similar to just a goth rock song.
This was a big departure for them.
Oh, was it?
Think of a band that was doing like death growls before this.
Yeah, so this would be way melodic compared to that. But once again, we talked a lot about goth rock, and now this is that next step, and that's kind of the slight difference. I mean, you get too metal with it, and it's just metal, heavy metal, but you got to have that goth vibe to it.
Yeah, because all metal, for the most part, is somewhat dark and gloomy. That's kind of where it comes from, right?
I mean, you get into hair metal, that's more the sappy, silly stuff going on, but the actual heavy metal we like to talk about. Yeah, serious business, man.
Yeah, usually it's, is coming from the...
Talk about mountains and witches.
That's right. Well, let's talk about mountains and witches. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to talk about a husband and wife duo, because that's what I think of when I think of goth
Happy
metal. Family,
yeah.
Yeah, it's like the Munsters. And actually, this band called Bloody Hammers, husband and wife duo. They, if you go check them out on YouTube, the wife, Devalia, she looks a lot like Lily Munster. That's kind of her get-up.
Oh. Nothing wrong with that.
Quite nice. And then the husband is Mr. Anders Manga.
Anders. I like that name.
Yeah.
Anders.
He looks like a Swedish Rob Zombie. If Rob Zombie were a Swede and had blonde hair, that's what this guy looks like.
Clean cut with blonde hair, or
not
just
clean cut? No, he's got the beard.
He's got all the.
He's got the
stuff.
Viking beard. And
okay, but just blonde,
just blonde.
A beach bum Rob Zombie.
Exactly. It's kind of weird.
Hey, man.
He does the full paint.
Sir, let's go, man.
And the full, paint on the face and everything, getting a little skeletal look to his face.
I'm scary, man. Boo.
So you don't hear this very often. This is a goth metal band from North Carolina. And not just North Carolina.
It's hard to be goth when it's hot. Have you noticed that? It's not easy.
Well, it is.
Your mascara runs.
But listen, it is if you're from Transylvania County, North Carolina.
Is there really a Transylvania? Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding you.
How did I not know? There's a Transylvania County, North Carolina.
That's what their bio says, man. It's got to be true.
I mean, is the town dressed up like Halloween all year long? If it's not, I mean, we have this town in Georgia called Helen, Georgia. If you're not from anywhere around here, just Google Helen, Georgia. Back in the 70s, this is a complete tangent. Back in the 70s, the town was dying out and there was no real industry. And somebody had the bright idea, let's make all the buildings look like German Alps or Swiss Alps. And so they did. And all the buildings look like you're up in the Swiss Alps. And now it's a huge tourist trap. Cheesy as hell.
It's a lot of fun, too.
It's a lot of fun. If like Oktoberfest goes,
you go for Oktoberfest
2 months.
Yeah, it starts just like in Germany. It starts in September.
We went there in our 20s or early 30s for Oktoberfest, and it was.
I go about every other year. We end up over there. We take the kids.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about the time we all slept in a pile because we didn't have a cabin or anything. We found a platform in the woods to sleep on, and there was like a pile of 6 of us because none of us had decent sleeping bags. We all had like Snoopy and Winnie the Pooh sleeping bags from Walmart, and it was fun anyway.
Okay, I just looked it up. Transylvania County, North Carolina is a real thing.
Like I said, if they're not marketing themselves to all the horror people and all that stuff, that they're just missing it.
Population of 12. About 33,000.
33,000. Okay, somebody's got to have some good ideas to do some touristy stuff there.
The college near there, so it's near Brevard College.
Are they the fighting vampires?
I don't know, but that's awesome.
Yeah, but it just doesn't go well when it's 96 degrees and you're trying to be spooky. It's just not the same.
So I wonder if this band, the Bloody Hammers, I wonder if they moved to Transylvania County because it was Transylvania County, and they're like, well, that's our place.
I don't care what it looks like. I want
care.
that name. When we mail out our Christmas cards
moving.
this year, I need it to say it's from Transylvania County.
Or maybe they're actually just from there. But anyway, I first heard of this band on the Decibel Geek. Chris Sinzak played this band one time, and I just thought, Bloody Hammers, that's great.
That's a great name.
I got to go check that out. They've had 6 albums and 1 EP to date. They're still around. Like I said, go check them out on YouTube. I didn't see that they toured, they're a duo, so I'm not sure how they're pulling it off live or if they're pulling it off live. But they have great album titles and song titles. So I'm just going to name a few of their song titles to let you know how goth metal they are. So their goth runs deep here in the Bloody Hammers. The first song that comes up, if you were to go look them up, would be Let Sleeping Corpses Lie. Number 2, Now the Screaming Starts. Let me just scroll down. Oh, here's a good one. A Night to Dismember.
Okay, I've heard that one.
They have a song just called Halloween. I mean, come on. Hands of the Ripper. I thought it said Reaper at first, but either one works.
It go either way. I give them points both ways.
From Beyond the Grave. I mean, these songs just write themselves.
These are future episode titles. You should just save that because all of those are podcast episode titles.
Yep. Now, I'm going to play a song called Catastrophe, and this is from their album called Lovely Sort of Death. It came out in 2016. Halloween, so here are the Bloody Hammers from Transylvania County, North Carolina.
There's an escalation in your world gone black. There's a longing inside you, and now there is no turning back. In your isolation, your fear is wearing thin. There's a prayer that's suspended, and therefore you'll finally repent. But when you close your eyes, you send your thoughts away. You have taken your daydream and traded for years of decay. And a chill of a frightening memory can call your name and run you through. But like all of the martyrs that come before you, you need for the blood that you see in your catastrophe. There's a realization that can circumvent in the morgue for emotions. Your pain sets your rigor mortis, while the hearts are breaking in the heaven sent. You have given up on your conclusion of what it all meant. But when you close your eyes, you send your thoughts away. You have taken your daydream and traded for years of decay. And a chill of a frightening memory cab calls your name and runs you through. But like all of the martyrs that come before you, you need for the blood that you see in your catastrophe.
I like that. That was more solidly in the goth category. Goth metal, goth rock. Either one would have fit fine with that. His voice definitely was more in that atmosphere. The music was very Muse-like, and which made me think, wait a minute, is Muse goth? Which I think you could make that argument.
And especially you can make that argument at the end of tonight's episode.
Oh, okay. So I'm getting ahead of myself again. I'm good at that. I'm good at jumping 3 or 4 steps ahead and then having to backtrack.
Well, there's a little Easter egg I'm going to throw at the end of this thing. And maybe it's not an Easter egg. Maybe it's a pumpkin. We're going to throw a little pumpkin.
Is it going to smash when you throw it?
I sure hope so.
But I like that he's got the vibe. He's got the kind of that low, like you said, the baritone voice and all the bright spots. That was good. So
maybe the dark spots.
What is it? Is his wife guitar player, keyboard player?
So she plays bass.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think he does guitars, drums. I don't know if he's programming the drums or if he's just playing them, and he's the singer and writes the songs. So I think she writes with him. And just like great goth rock, they kind of take that same approach of let the bass kind of drive it. And you've got that driving bass line going all the way through it. It's just very much in the sweet spot of what goth is. Could be considered goth rock, could be considered goth metal. Next, we're going to do a band that has a direct connection to our favorite band, or one of our favorite bands, Type O Negative. So this is a band from Brooklyn, and the band was formed in 2010 by Sal Abruscato. He is the former drummer for Type O Negative and Life of Agony. So he was on the first 3 Type O Negative albums before he left to go join Life of Agony, which was another band that they're more alternative metal, but another Brooklyn-based band that's heavy and was alternative in the 90s. And in this band, they are called A Pale Horse Named Death. We talked about them a little bit last year, but I had only just discovered them because I was trying to figure out, where did all the guys go from Type O? Did they continue doing the same type of thing that Peter Steele was doing with them, or did they go do other things? Well, here's the drummer, the very first drummer, who, by the way, never played on any of the albums, because remember, they programmed all the drums.
Oh, that's right. That's a weird story.
So bizarre, but he never actually played on the albums. But he doesn't play drums in this band. I think he plays a little bit, but he's not known as the drummer. He is the guitarist and singer in this band, A Pale Horse Named Death. And his singing style is very similar to Lane Staley. At times, I will listen to this and I'll go, damn, that sounds like Lane Staley.
Wow.
Which is pretty interesting given he was not even the singer in Type O Negative or Life of Agony.
So what time frame were we talking about? If he was after the first 3 albums, this would be early 90s?
Yeah, so he left right in the middle, actually, of the Bloody Kisses tour, which is Black #1. It's when they had all their MTV success. And probably, they were really on the rise. And they toured, I think, for 2 years on that album. And he left in the middle of it to go join Life of Agony. Now, Life of Agony, with their first album, they also had that upward trajectory, but they didn't maintain it like Type O sort of did. Yeah. Although Type O, declined as they went on. Yeah, so he leaves in the early to mid 90s, goes to Life of Agony, does that, and he doesn't form this band until 2010. But this band kicks ass. They're so cool, man. At one point, he had John Kelly, who replaced him as the drummer in Type O Negative. Nice. He had John Kelly in his band, A Pale Horse Named Death. So you had 2 drummers from Type O in this band at one point. They've had 4 releases so far from 2011 to 2021. I'm going to play from their latest album that came out last year. The name of the album is Infernum in Terra, and listen to the writing style of the music and just let me see if that puts a smile on your face. I'm hoping it does.
All right.
So here's A Pale Horse Named Death. This song is called Cast Out from the Sky.
Absolutely perfect. That's amazing. That is the best of both worlds right there from Typo and Alice in Chains. Even the guitar lead was a little bit of Cantrell in that. It wasn't just Lane Staley, the voice of Lane Staley making an appearance there. I wish I could have heard it with Lane Staley doing that, but Lane would jump up to that next octave up and just to really emphasize like on the second or third verse. Like he just had that amazing range that was just full of emotions. And I think they also were equally annoyed with Typo Negative shortening their songs and their abrupt endings. Because they just drug that one out for another 4 minutes. You okay?
Took a little too much of the absinthe.
Got an abscess of the absinthe.
Yeah.
Lightweight.
Well, there's nothing like drinking poison. Yeah, that was a cup of Typo and Alice in Chains.
God, that's
two
great.
Two departed lead singers, and I think they would both be smiling if they heard that.
Absolutely. I think they came together really nicely.
And I went and looked at the timing. It was a 1 minute fade out.
Nice.
A full minute of fading.
I loved it. It had me hooked. I'm just listening, because once again, I was ready for it to just end.
That's what Peter Steele would have done.
Yeah. But that was great. That
Sal
sums everything up right there.
Sal took what he did and he continues on with it. I love it. So go check out A Pale Horse Named Death. Again, 4 releases, so you've got some stuff to listen to.
I'm listening to that tomorrow.
Really, really good. Okay, we cannot do any episode that has the word metal in it, whether it's speed metal or thrash metal or any type of metal you want to name. We're doing goth metal, but we're still going to throw in a Swedish band.
Of course.
You got to have the Swedes. You got metal in the title. You got to have the Swedes.
They're so good looking, you can't not talk about them.
Oh, yes. So here's a Swedish goth metal band formed in 1989, and their first several albums, again, same story, true death metal before becoming more of a goth band. So in 1994, they started to transition out of that whole death growl thing, not having any real melody in their vocals, which I'm cool with that, but I like it when bands like Opeth mix it up. That I can tolerate, but if it's just all that, which that's why I'm not playing Celtic Frost, because
it's just all growl.
Well, they're either all or nothing. I don't know. But I got to have a little bit of melody. I got to have a little hint of groove in the metal, and that's what makes it for me. That's me. So this band changed things in 1994. They released 7 albums in total from 1990 to 1997, and then they went on a hiatus for 7 years. So the lead singer, guitarist, who really runs the band, he put out albums under a different band name. He changed the name to Sundown, which was one of the album titles of this band, Cemetery. So I don't know why. He didn't really change the approach of the music or anything. He just decided to stop making Cemetery albums, and Cemetery's album Sundown came out, and he's like, I'm going to call the band Sundown, change the members, and put out a few albums as Sundown.
Yeah, you got the right to do that, I guess, if you own if you own it.
Maybe he thought it would get him somewhere else. I don't know. It's kind of bizarre.
Most people just do solo records. Hello.
Now, in 2005, he reunited the band as Cemetery, and he put out one final album as Cemetery, and then he disbanded the band for good. And the reason he disbanded the band, this is his quote, he was dissatisfied with the people he was working with.
Damn.
So I'm just going to stop doing it all together.
You could have sugarcoated that a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, we had creative differences.
I don't like any of you, therefore I am just ending this, and it'll never go forward again.
That's cold. Well, it's cold, sweet.
Well, they are Cemetery.
Yeah,
so.
Cemetery. They're angry.
They changed their sound slightly when they came back in 2005. I like it better. So that's the one Cemetery album that I own, because the others, his voice never really resonated with me. And the music was just sort of, it was there, it was all right. But when he came back in 2005, it was a little more electronic, and it actually added a cool vibe to their music. To me, it raised it up. So I'm going to play from that album. The name of the album is Phantasma. Again, came out in 2005. We're going to play a song called Drowning Out the World.
Hey, what's your name? Have I seen you before? Little girl, come here, crawl across the floor. Let's do it again, and again, and again. My pounding pressure, all for your pleasure. Let me
So he liked to drag things out and just repeat the same thing over and over. That was absolutely gothy and doomy and metally, but it doesn't grab me as some of the other things. It just kind of, like I said, it's a little monotonous.
Yeah, it's like creepy drug music.
Yeah, it had that Marilyn Manson vibe, which for me is not a good thing.
Oh, okay.
I mean, he freaking paints his face and goes, you know who else paints their face? Kiss! Ooh, a preemptive Kiss connection.
Wow, how about that? There's your Kiss connection with a K.
I didn't hear one. I was waiting for it. I'm like, well, if you're not going to do it, then
you're
I'll
just going to throw it in.
Yeah, just throw it in there.
Nice. I'll take it. Yeah, okay. So if cemetery is not your thing,
yeah,
maybe we'll go to Liverpool. Yes?
It's dreary. It rains a lot there.
Yeah,
Overcast.
Some famous band from there. I'm not sure their name.
There's dead people there, right?
And then there's this band. So this is a band that existed from 1990 to 2020. The reason I'm bringing that up, I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay.
They are a complete oddity for this genre tonight. In their 11-album career, they made a steady shift from doom to death metal to goth metal to progressive rock to symphonic progressive pop.
Okay, I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah, so they completely changed. I mean, when they formed, they started touring with a band called Cannibal Corpse. So you can assume what kind of music they were. By the time they ended in 2020, their music was very similar to 80s Pink Floyd. I mean, complete shift from death to Floyd.
Okay, I got to hear that.
Yeah. So the band we are talking about is called Anathema.
Anathema. Okay, I had to practice that.
Which is, I think, another way of saying a wraith.
Not anathema, but
spirit.
Anathema.
Yes. Anathema.
Okay.
And I was supposed to see them on the 2020 Cruise to the Edge, but it got canceled.
Some virus thing.
There was something going on.
Everybody had the sniffles.
And then the damn band broke up.
Oh, son of a...
The same year. So when they rescheduled the Cruise to the Edge, they were no longer on it.
You gotta win.
I love this band, and their strange background just makes them even more unique and interesting to me. So, of course, tonight we're not going to play anything from the Pink Floyd-y progressive era.
Come on. All right, save that for my birthday.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there eventually. So we're going to play the more depressing, atmospheric stuff that they started doing in their, call it their third or fourth album. So we're going to play from their album called Alternative 4, which came out in 1998. This is when they started making the big shift to more goth. And this band has been, well, they were on the same label, and they've been compared to another band called My Dying Bride. I don't know if you've ever heard of that band, but maybe we'll talk about them later.
God, that's
foreshadowing,
sad.
Perhaps. But tonight we're going to play Anathema's Fragile Dreams. So settle in. This is a slow build.
Okay.
Yet
we got time. I got
Goth
nothing else
Metal.
going on.
Okay. Well, grab your absinthe, sit down, everyone, and enjoy.
times I trusted you, I let you back in, knowing, yearning, you know I should have run, but I stayed. Maybe I always knew my fragile dreams would be broken for you. Today I introduced myself to my own feelings, in silent agony. After all these years they spoke to me. After all these years, maybe I always knew my fragile dreams would be broken for you.
Yeah, I like that, and I definitely want to hear some more of their other genres that they dabbled in. But that had what it needed to have to be included in tonight's podcast episode.
Yes, I agree. I had a feeling you might like them. In fact, they're a band that I really, really want to go deep on at some point.
Know what I mean? Know what I mean? Nudge, nudge, know what I mean? Say no more. Say no more, say no more, know what I mean? Nudge, nudge.
On one of these episodes, or maybe two of these episodes.
That's fine with me. It had a lot there. Really, I was drifting off thinking about other things. It's very atmospheric as far as just filling up all the spaces in a nice way.
And they were always very kind of, their topics are very depressing and kind of morose all throughout their career, that as far as the lyrics and what they're singing about. But you can sort of tell, I think, their progression of where they're headed. This is when that started to, you're goth, but you can tell they're going to start doing a little more symphonic, a little more
there were elements of Dream Theater
stuff
already in there, and I could tell they were wanting to take off. Like, they're ready to go, and they just kind of held back.
But their thing is, they, even once they're full-blown prog rock, they don't go to the notey stuff. It's more about the atmosphere and about building these epic, long-form songs that take you on a journey. So that's kind of where they're headed. And one of the things they did to get them there, to get them from the goth to that, is they brought in the sister of the drummer to be the second singer. And when you add the female voice with his, and they do these amazing harmonies later in other albums.
Oh, I love it.
You'll just, that's when you're like, oh yeah, Pink Floyd.
Okay.
Because you get the amazing female vocals on top of the male vocals. And
yeah, they always had the best backup backup singers.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, band that I totally dig, and I think we should revisit at some point.
Grin, grin, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more.
Okay.
All right. So here's another kind of weird band to put in this episode, but I felt like it fit. And this is a Swiss band called Dead Venus, and it's a power trio. And they consider themselves to be a mythical neo-progressive mixed with goth band.
Yeah.
I just consider them a goth metal band.
Let's
We'll
just
just go
keep
with
it
that.
there, yeah.
We'll just go there. So originally, this band was just a singer-songwriter project for the singer, keyboardist, guitarist Serena Telly. And she is very proficient on her instruments. She's very good. You'll see in this song that she can play the hell out of a Hammond organ. She can play piano. And just has
single?
well, you might want to look her up
Okay.
because, yeah, she's attractive and goth looking at the same time and kind of crazy Viking woman looking as well.
Yes.
So it's very cool.
That's my type right there.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It checks
and
all the boxes,
gothy.
doesn't it?
Yes, exactly.
They've only had 2 releases. Formed in 2015, they rely heavily on social media and YouTube for exposure and promotion. I don't think they're signed to any major label or anything. And that's exactly where I discovered them about a year and a half ago. I was just scrolling through YouTube and saw this video. So go check out their videos.
Okay.
Dead Venus. Because they kind of look steampunk. They kind of look goth. And they are playing this kind of technical goth prog music. It's unique. It's cool.
Okay.
Or at least I think so. You may hear it and go, this sounds like shit. But I like it.
I reserve the right to.
Well, they've released another album this year that I do not have yet, so that's one that I want to add to my list for 2022. We're going to play from their 2019 album called Bird of Paradise, and I'm going to play the song Bird of Paradise. Here is Dead Venus.
die for us. Deny yourself. Deny yourself. Deny yourself. Deny yourself. It's in your heart, my friend. It's in your heart, my friend. It's in your soul. You will find the colors of the world. It's in your heart, my friend. It's in your heart, my friend. It's in your soul. You will find the colors of the world. It's in your heart, my friend. It's in your heart, my friend. It's in your soul. You will find the colors of the world.
What an amazing voice. I mean, she went from like a jazz singer in the verses, just very
Real light sounding, yeah.
rather with
yeah.
a piano.
Whispery.
It's almost bouncy. Then all of a sudden you kick back in the chorus, and it wasn't a screaming, powerful voice. It was just, you could tell she's got some pipes and can sing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Pretty Reckless, Thunder Mother, a couple other bands we've talked about, how the voices on those women are amazing. And yeah, you showed me a picture. It's very Viking.
Very Viking.
And as soon as you
yes.
showed me the picture, then all of a sudden listening to it, I'm like, God, that sounds like Viking rock almost. They could probably bleed over into that genre.
Viking goth
Yeah, Viking goth.
from
but-
Switzerland.
and they went off course a little bit. They went north.
Yeah, they settled.
They settled. This is fine. We'll stay here. We'll pillage this town. God, and the song took you all over the map. I mean,
Yeah.
very progressive for
Started
goth
creepy,
song.
ended creepy.
Yeah.
Kind of have this.
It kind of brought you right back
bouncy
to
in
the
the
creepy.
middle.
Yeah, it had different vignettes within the song.
Yeah, I totally dig that band. I don't know that they can totally be labeled any one thing, but I
Yeah.
felt like they fit in here.
Absolutely.
All right, I have one more for you. We've
right.
already alluded to this band, so this is another genre originator.
Kiss?
It's not Kiss.
Oh, you had to get one in. You couldn't let me have all the thunder.
No, I
you had to
one.
take it.
Another
Okay.
Kiss connection with a K. And this band has nothing to do with Kiss. This is a band called My Dying Bride. So they're usually mentioned if you Google Goth Metal, you will see them mentioned along with Typo, Paradise Lost, and Anathema. So they shared a label with Anathema, and that label was called Peaceville. And they're part of the Peaceville 3 because Paradise Lost, Anathema, and My Dying Bride were all signed around the same time and were putting out their death growl doomy stuff at the same time before they all went, oh, let's just go more goth.
Yeah, this is hard on your voice. Let's just sing.
Yeah, there's a whole lot of dudes in the audience. I want the little goth girls.
Little sausage fest out there. I mean, Peter actually did say that.
Yeah, we did it for the goth girls.
Yeah, he actually changed or wrote some songs to get more chicks in the audience.
Put a little more groove to your music.
Yeah.
Maybe don't scream as much.
I mean, we stopped wearing the stupid mechanics coveralls because somebody said it didn't make our butts look good. So I'm like, oh, well, if the ladies don't like it, then we got to change that.
It's all about the butts. This is a band from West Yorkshire, formed in 1990. They've had 14 releases from 92 to 2020, so they're still going, My Dying Bride. And they can be incredibly mellow and morose and just kind of draggy. And then they can be death metal, harsh, just growly Cookie Monster. So they're all over the board.
Cookie Monster, yes.
Yes, those are cookies laced with absinthe, of course. So I'm going to play from their third album where they started to go away from the growl stuff and started doing more what I consider goth metal. The name of the album is The Angel and the Dark River. All of the songs are oriented around water or sea themes.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool. And if you think about it, where they come from, there's a lot of water around them and it's raining and depressing.
It is.
For the most part. And they're part of the UK. So makes sense to write this album. And this song, A Sea to Suffer In, My Dying Bride, 1996. That was one of those typo endings.
I was going to say, they've got a lot of similarities, and Jackass did that same thing. Didn't give any warning. Very perfect mix of Danzig and Peter Steele for the voice. They had just a little bit of both of that going on, and a little bit. I wish they had actually more of the keys in that. They had it very lightly in there, and I think it would have worked well just to go ahead and throw more of that in there because it was heavy enough. It could have supported that without getting too light and fluffy, but very heavy, very doomy. With his voice, once again, you just can't. There's no mistaking. That's just goth metal.
Yeah, it's true goth metal. I mean, it's a reason they consider them one of the pioneers of the whole movement. And I don't go to them like I go to other bands. I only have this one album because of the things I've listened to, either it's too dirgy or it's too growly for me. But I can see where people would totally be into this. There's a lot of start-stop. I mean, how many different tempo changes did they have in that? And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I mean, Typo Negative did it all the time.
Yeah.
But their transitions to me they're a little more abrasive.
Abrupt, yeah.
Than typos, which is hard to imagine.
It seemed disjointed.
Yeah, it's a little disjointed.
Yeah.
And that's how their music is. That's their thing. That's what they do.
I couldn't keep track of where we were. I had
Yeah.
The songs we wrote were pretty much straightforward, just so I could remember where we were in the song. What verse are we on? Second verse? Okay.
That's why we were not a goth metal band.
No. We're the polar opposite of that.
Yeah. So hopefully this twist on the goth series that we've done, hopefully you still enjoyed this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to you releasing this podcast so I can listen to it again.
Hopefully it got you in the mood for the season that is
Gothtober. Yes.
Have you ever actually had absinthe?
I'm drinking it right now. What are you talking about? No, I have not actually.
I have a couple of times.
What's the flavor? Is there a flavor to it or not?
God awful licorice. Yeah, it's horrible. It is the worst tasting crap I've ever had in my life. So.
And it is a poison, right? It's if you drink too much, you die.
Well, the taste keeps me from drinking too much because it was a struggle to choke down a couple of shots of it. But yeah, it was not good at all and did not have the desired effect that I was told it would. But I was at Burning Man. You can't tell what's going on. You don't know what's coming or going there.
You probably had lots of other chemicals flowing through your system.
I don't know. I did one more to that mix was like no big deal. But yeah, it was just nasty tasting licorice liqueur, but who knows? They might have been blowing smoke. But it's two different times, so two different people, and from people that know about it that I would trust, in that realm. But yeah, both times it was like, ugh, just give me a shot of bourbon.
Well, maybe we'll pick up some absinthe here.
We'll do a tasting.
One of these episodes, we'll do a little
tasting.
Yeah, test.
Okay,
tasting.
if any of our friends have some extra absinthe laying around, give me a shout.
Yeah, exactly. So I mentioned you might get a little teaser muse that
Musings?
you mentioned, some musings here at the end. So as we say a goodbye today, farewell until the next episode of
Gothtober,
I will leave you with some musings from maybe their new album. They actually have a song called Halloween.
Good. I'm glad they're going darker. Good.
Yes. So until next time, people.
see ya later.